My apologies for being absent here the past couple of days on the video report, but to be honest with you, I had headed down to Knoxville, Tennessee because I figured if nobody else wanted to be the Volunteers head football coach, I'd throw my hat in the ring, and I thought I had a real good chance. But then the university, they sacked the athletic director, they put Phil Fulmer in charge. Hey, me and Phil, we do not see eye to eye. That's the bottom line. So I abandoned my quest. I headed back to Philadelphia, and you're stuck with me once again here doing the video reports. But there are worse things in life. I've won 13 of my last 18 complimentary plays. I've won 9 of the last 10 in the NFL, but that's tomorrow's story. I've got a couple of college comp plays here for this final Saturday of the regular season coming your way in just a moment. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about that Stanford USC game last night. Now, when I released that play yesterday, it was 12:45 Eastern time. At that time, USC was a 3.5-point favorite, and naturally, when that line crosses 3, 4, 7, even sometimes 10, you know the deal. I immediately tell you to go ahead and buy down that half point. That's what I did. That's what I instructed you to do. So I naturally bought down to 3, and that's the price that I wagered. Now, if you happen to get that play from me yesterday, you also saw in my analysis at 4:45 Eastern time, that line jumped back up to 4, which it was earlier in the morning. It wasn't when I released the play. So about 3.5 hours later, it jumped back up to 4. And that's where it stayed up until around 7:15 Eastern time. And then it dropped down to 3.5. Well, you saw what happened. Stanford scores with about 2.5 minutes to go, makes it a 3-point game. Now, here at the site, how I'm the guy that is responsible for grading all the plays. I personally won money on the game. Some of you that were my clients and got the play, you may have won money on the game too, because you know what I always say. You bet the favorites early, 99% of the time, you bet the underdogs late. But here at the site, I took the game as a loss. I told everybody that had USC to take the game as a loss. I told everybody that had Stanford, you take the game as a win. Now, Matt Rivers, who released the play earlier than I did yesterday, he was live on the site like at 10 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. He released it at 4. Noted later in the day it dropped to 3.5, came back to the site, noted again that the line jumped back up to 4, because I always encourage the handicappers to let you know what the price is when they released it and the time of day, and to come back to the site and update it again, because many of you guys out there, you customers, you like to come back and see what the lines are updated throughout the day. And I think that's only fair because the handicappers are constantly monitoring the prices anyway. Why not post it to the site? It's what they're doing. They're checking the lines just like you guys are as well. So again, I'm the final guy. I'm the arbiter. I'm the guy who lays down the law. So the bottom line is, even though I won money and some of you may have won money, USC is a loser and Stanford is a winner. And that's how we roll. Now, let's move forward, because that's yesterday, and today is today, and it's another new day. Now, no matter what happened yesterday, whether I won money or I lost money, what have I told you the past couple of weeks? There are 2 times that you have the advantage and the best times to make money in college football. The opening 2-3 weeks of the season, when you clearly have the advantage over the odds makers because they don't know anything more about these teams than you do, and the opening weeks of the season, and the closing 2 or 3 weeks of the season, because at this stage, you've seen these teams play for 8, 9, 10 weeks in a row, and you have your finger on the pulses of these teams. It's not the college bowl season, because the bowl season has turned into an exhibition campaign. Why? And I don't mean to bore you, but if you haven't seen my explanation before, let me just give it to you quickly. The bowls used to mean something. They don't anymore. Look at what has happened just in the past week. Coaches getting fired, coaches switching teams, coaches, it's just become, let's make a deal. You've got now in the past couple of years, key position players sitting out to protect their health and to protect their NFL draft status, which I understand. You're going to get teams suspending players for rules violations, academic and eligibility situations. You don't know which teams care about playing in the bowls. So, and the other thing is, you may have red hot teams at the end of the regular season that are suddenly then idle for 3 weeks. That's difficult to factor in your handicapping. So Bowl games are just like playing roulette. They're damn hard. And that's why, to me, they're hard to have big plays on. So that's why, to me, the first 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks, that's the time to make big money. That's why I've had some big 30-dime releases, which are, for me, the biggest plays that I will have in my career. I cashed one in 2 weeks ago with Memphis crushing SMU. I told you last Saturday, I absolutely loved the game, but I was not in a position to go ahead and unload on that game because I was in a losing streak. But I loved the game, and what was it? It was Oklahoma crushing West Virginia. So I only released it as a top-rated 15-dime play. But today, nothing's holding me back. Listen, I personally won money on USC last night. I won the night before with the Celtics stopping Philadelphia in NBA. I'm going for it again today. The 11th ever 30-dime release of my career here on the sites that I started 15 and a half years ago. And I'm going for it. It's a 30-dime play. It's my underdog game of the year. I think this team has a good shot to win the damn game outright. I think they easily stay in the number. It's on the daytime card. It's the half price play of the day. Use coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F. Now, again, let me just reemphasize. I'm not telling you to take funds that you have earmarked for your Christmas gifts, for your mortgage payment, for money that you should be spending to put food on your table for your family. A 30-dime play is just my way of telling you this is as big as it gets. You still have to play it within your own personal bankroll allocation system. What is my golden rule of gambling that I always tell you? You never bet more than you can afford to lose, because therefore you never get into a deep financial abyss from which there is no escape. And there are, of course, no guarantees in gambling. But I love the play, and I'm going for it, and I don't look back. And it goes today. It's the half price play of the day, because I continue to tell you, there's no reason to spend big money to make big money. A couple of the other big plays today. Joey Juice, who is Joey Curtel, who is one of the producers of the hit HBO show Ballers, starring Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and Joey, of course, is played by actor Rob Corday. Joe this year had 109 plays in college football. He's had them almost every Saturday of this college football season. He's gone 8-3 with them. That's his highest rated play. Today, first 150-dime release. It's Georgia-Auburn, the SEC championship game. It's over half price off, just like every single one of those 100-dime plays you've gotten in the season for over half price off. Once again, the coupon code is JUICE. Brad Wilton, who had a very nice 2.5-year run here at the site. And then at the end of August, his contract was not renewed. It was a mutual decision because he was burned out. I understand. He asked to come back. I gave him an opportunity. Today, 150-dime winner, number 30 of 44 since he joined the site back in 2013. 30 out of 44, the ACC championship game, Clemson and Miami of Florida. It's over half price off using coupon code BRAD. Eric Schrader, fourth ever 150-dime college football game of his career, Wisconsin-Ohio State, over half price off by using coupon code ERIC as he goes for winning day number 8 out of 11. Remember number 3? It was Clemson destroying South Carolina last Saturday night. So those are among the featured plays today. And of course, this being Saturday, you know the drill. Each and every Saturday, I give you a money-saving discount coupon code that can potentially save you hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price. That code today, 24%, 24PERCENT. It's a mix and match coupon that could save you potentially hundreds of dollars. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon, which means you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time. It's good for any combination of picks and or packages. If you have any questions, contact customer service. Let's get to your complimentary plays. Nighttime card, let me talk about the ACC championship game. I like Clemson. So does the public. That game has gone from 9.5, up to 10.5 here as I've worked through the night. Wouldn't surprise me to see this game go to 11 to 11.5 by kickoff. So if you're going to bet Clemson, you bet them early. If you don't agree with me, you wait till kickoff and bet Miami of Florida. Game is, of course, in Charlotte. Listen, I don't think Clemson is nearly as good offensively as they've been during the Deshaun Watson years, but this defense is absolutely superb. Strong pass rush. I read some stats that The run defense is actually better than the run defense in terms of yards per carry and overall yards per game than the unit that has been stocked with NFL talent the past 3 years. You got the number 4 scoring defense giving up just 13.6 points a game. You got a Miami team that lost its top running back in early October, that in last Saturday's game lost their starting tight end against Pitt, the game that they lost. Wednesday, in practice, lost one of their 2 top wide receivers. You just can't lose that type of offensive weaponry and expect to compete against a top-notch defense like the Tigers. And I was not impressed with how Miami of Florida played all season on the road. Okay, you beat Duke, you beat North Carolina, you beat Florida State, and you lost to Pittsburgh. Big deal. I was impressed with how Clemson played. I understand that they lost to Syracuse, but remember, their quarterback was playing with a sprained ankle in that game. I lost money on that game. I remember it vividly. He shouldn't have been playing that game in the first place. I like the way Clemson didn't get caught looking ahead to this game when they just crushed South Carolina last week. Clemson has the experience from playing for the national title each of the past 2 years. Is it as good as a team was a year ago? Not offensively, but I think they have more than enough to take care of a Miami team that I really don't believe is nearly as good as everybody else thinks it is, and that's why it was upset by Pittsburgh. Remember, this is a Miami team that just a couple weeks back was given a fit by Virginia. How good are the Cavaliers? So I like Clemson in this particular contest. Another play for you. I look, oh God, me with the Mid-American let's just not come back to that game about Toledo and Akron. Let's skip to the Conference USA game first. Because if you know my history of picking Mid-American Conference games, you don't want to hear my pick either way. Let's talk about the Conference USA game between Florida Atlantic and Middle Tennessee State. Florida Atlantic playing at home, and Boca Raton is a 12-point favorite. Conference USA title game. The home teams won the last 5 title games in this conference, going 4-1 against the spread. The home team's on a 6-1 straight-up roll in the series, covering 5 of the last 7 meetings. North Texas, yeah, they've won 5 in a row and 8 out of 9. But listen, the Owls have just rolled through conference play. They've won all 8 conference games. They've averaged 46 points a game offensively during that 8-game conference roll. They absolutely crushed North Texas in the first meeting. Back on October 21st as a 3.5-point home favorite. They rolled in that one 69-31. They rolled up 804 total yards. They ran for 447 yards in that contest. They scored on their first 11 possessions before easing up in the fourth quarter because they were up by 52 points in that game. Gee, I think I'll lay the points with Florida Atlantic in this one as Lane Kiffin wins it in his first year. Florida Atlantic minus the 12 points. I'm going to go with them in that contest. I look at that Memphis Central Florida game. I see the total at 81. You have the top 2 scoring teams in football. You have Central Florida averaging 48.3 points. You have Memphis scoring 47 points. You have 2 teams that I don't think can stop each other. You saw Central Florida last week against South Florida, couldn't stop the Bulls. And the Bulls are a one-dimensional team with Quentin Flowers, who had a magnificent 503 passing yard performance. You have a Central Florida team that, unlike South Florida, can run the ball with Henderson outstanding. Henderson, the running back, the top running back for Memphis. You know, in his last 4 games, Darrell Henderson has averaged over 11 yards per carry, and on the season, he's averaged 9.1 yards per carry. You have a Central Florida team that can move the ball through the air and through the ground. They had over 600 yards when they beat the hell out of Memphis in the first meeting at the end of September. Again, I think this is going to be a ping-pong battle. Why not play the over? Again, it's sitting at 81 points. I got to go with the over in that contest. And your final complimentary play, yes, I'll talk about the Mid-American Conference game at Ford Field at noon in Detroit. Toledo's a 21-point favorite. I got to lay the 21 points with the Rockets because they've got the number 15 offense in the country, averaging almost 39 points a game. You got an Akron team that is going Maybe with the redshirt freshman, Cato Nelson, for his third straight start. Maybe they turn back and give the senior, what was his name? Thomas Woodson, who was suspended for the second to last and third to last regular season games and did not play in the final regular season game either. Who knows? All I know is that the Rockets beat the hell out of Akron in the regular season meeting, and Logan Woodside, the Toledo quarterback, had 5 touchdowns in that contest, passing for 304 yards in the contest. On the season, he's thrown for over 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He threw the ball 345 times this year. Outstanding offensive line protection, only 18 sacks. Toledo can run the ball, Akron can't. I've got to lay the 21 points with Toledo. So if I had to rate the plays, I would say Clemson would be the number 1 choice. Florida Atlantic would be number 2. Memphis and Central Florida going over the total would be number 3. And only because I never won in the Mid-American Conference, Toledo would be number 4. Those are your 4 complimentary plays for this day. I wish you well, guys, and a little NFL action tomorrow. And remember, I'm on a 9-1 run with the NFL comp plays, and that'll be your Sunday video report. Good luck.